Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 88 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on November 16th, 2021. Guys, the weather is getting cooler and you can conceal bigger guns. That's right. I want to carry my M11. Carrying a Mac is pretty baller, I have to say, but I do need a bigger fanny pack. Today, actually, speaking of that, it was funny. I was picking up some stuff from somewhere, and this young woman, she turned to me and she said, "Hey, cool fanny pack." And I said, "Thanks. I love it. It carries all my stuff. It's super convenient. It's so great." I was talking to her about it, all the pockets, and she looked at it. She's like, "Oh, it has multiple pockets. It's like a fanny pack on a fanny pack." I was like, "I know. It's great." And then she turned to her friend or coworker or whatever she was, and she was like, "I need one of those. That is so smart. Why didn't I ever think of that?" And it made me smile. I was like, man, this is awesome. Also, she had no idea there's a pistol and a silencer in mine, which just goes to show you the utility of such a thing. Frankly, I love it. I love it so much. I'll show you another picture of it today on the social media. There, I'll put my Mac. I love my Mac. Clack clack. It's so great. Anyway, but if you are looking for a silencer to carry with you, I do suggest a small 9mm model. Something that is small, that comes small or can be made small, like one of those modular type deals. They're pretty good for expedient use, and it's pretty handy if you're considering using one for, I don't know, like expedient hearing protection, maybe. Like I talked about that before. Like I like to use it at the ranch, with me, to maybe shoot a critter I need to shoot. Or, maybe you want to mask your position. Maybe you want to shoot and you don't want to go deaf. Yeah. One place to get such an item would be Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. It is. It's the most efficient and intelligent way, probably. I mean, I say that. Disclaimer, probably is. I mean, it's probably the most efficient, in mass, I would say. They have a kiosk there. You do your fingerprints, your paperwork, your biometrics, your photo. Everything's encrypted. It's all in the kiosk. You're watching Netflix with your girl. I don't know what are they watching on Netflix now? The Squid Game or something. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't look entertaining to me at all, frankly. But you're watching something. You're like, watch this with me. You're like, yeah, I'm watching. But you're really buying silencers on your phone. That's right. You're multitasking because you're awesome. With Silencer Shop, you can do that. No, it's really great. In all seriousness, they are quite innovative, and that's the reason they've grown. They do continue to innovate. The QR code on the Form 4 cuts down on paperwork errors. Cuts down on basically any further infringement on your right, if that was even possible. But they have a money-back guarantee, no transfer fees, no paperwork errors. It's just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It is. So I recommend it if you're into that. If you're looking for a place to buy a silencer, and you don't have to buy from them. I don't really care. Just go check them out. It would behoove you. It would behoove you to use their system. If not, hey. Everyone remembers when we used to send Form 4s through the mail from your house, and you can, Form 1s or whatever, and we've all done it. You all go find a dealer and do it. You make the form, you copy the form in triplicate, and you wait, and you wait, and eventually the form gets to your dealer, or in the case of a Form 1, it comes back to your house, and then you build your gun or whatever. We've all done it ourselves, but in this day and age, who has the time? And who has the stamps? I don't. Secondly, and probably most importantly, this podcast is also sponsored by Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. You can visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest. It is the most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. It is based on true human sound perception. Okay, it's in Section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard, which walks you through gunshot noise, and it builds in complexity gradually until it crescendos into a great symphony of truth and justice. No, maybe not justice, but definitely truth. There are 7 parts, and they're all on pewscience.com for you to read. If you haven't read it, that's fine. It's kind of long, so you can skip to section 5, and it describes the suppression rating, and it lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to the sound of the muzzle in the shooter's ear, and it gives you a hearing-safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested. If it's higher, it sounds better. If it's lower, it might sound louder to you. That's all there is to it. You're not going to find it anywhere else. And in the 6th section of the standard, all the reviews are there, and they are in depth. And if you want a quick look, so you don't have to look through all that, you can just go to the ranking section in section 7 of the standard. There's a simple database tool for you to sort and view the suppression ratings of all the publicly released test data there. And when you find something you like, you can click on the links in the table. It'll take you back to the reviews. You can dive into your heart's content. As always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use PewScience for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. It's really great. You contact us through there. All your information is kept confidential, unless, of course, you want to release data to the public that we have created there. When we have analyzed your test data that we have gathered, we can deliver that analytical product to the public on the website if you wanted to. And we've done that several times, so far. You can see those reviews at pewscience.com. Now, something that I would be remiss if I didn't say, you can support this podcast. You can support PewScience. You can support the testing that I do. You can support all of these activities, all of the things on the website, all of the articles that I write for you by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. You can. And you know what I added? There were some folks that asked for it. I added a donate feature to the website there. I put it on the review page and the podcast page. Folks asked me, they said, I have a membership, but I want to give a little more to PewScience. How can I do that? And some guys, they'll get like 2 memberships. I'm like, okay, let's relax. I mean, it's nice, but thank you. So I thought about it, and a lot of people asked, oh man, it would be cool if we could just give, whatever amount we want to give. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I said, I will create a mechanism for that. And so it is there. It is on the website. And if you want to support PewScience and this podcast, and it means a lot, and it does help. Every little bit helps. So yeah, you can, when you click on the donate button, there's like some pre-populated amounts. And then if you maybe, it has a blank there, you contribute whatever you want. And that goes directly to PewScience, and it funds PewScience research. You can get a receipt and say that you donated to a wonderful cause. You put on your taxes or something. I don't know how that works. Disclaimer, not a tax advisor. But yes, it does mean a lot. And so every little bit helps. So your generosity and your contributions are greatly appreciated. Something that is free, doesn't cost you anything. You can also rate this podcast on your favorite podcast provider. And, maybe that will let folks in general know that silencers and guns are awesome, and we can normalize the use of suppressed small arms. That's, at the end of the day, that is the goal. So, there are benefits to spreading the word regardless of monetary contribution. Okay. 3 topics for you today. Topic 1, sound signature review 657. Yeah, that's very recent. We'll talk about that. The Surefire SOCOM300-SPS on the Q Mini Fix. Subsonic 300 Blackout. A purpose-built silencer for the cartridge? Yes, most definitely is. We'll talk about that. Topic 2, I am in the midst of some internal PewScience research. So I did want to give you a quick update on what I'm working on. I want to give you some observations with regard to the 5.56 by 45 millimeter cartridge. I want to give you the observation how that is comparing with 7.62 by 51, and then finally 300 Blackout. And also, I am eyeing some high interest test specimens. There are some, like, I'm looking at you, Sig. No, but I am. So there's that. And then topic 3, welcome to all the new PewScience members. Thank you for your support. And I did want to talk more about the donations thing. Some of you folks asked about other ways to support. And if you could donate, and so that function is now on the reviews page, like I just mentioned to you. And so I do appreciate all your willingness to help with the effort. Okay, you guys are making it happen. All right, we're gonna move into topic 1 at a time of 10 minutes and 19 seconds. Okay, I need a drink of water. Excuse me. I had a really long day today, guys. I had to drive really far, and it was a whole thing. Had the fanny pack, though, so it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Yeah, topic 1, sound signature review 657, the Surefire SOCOM300-SPS. Gosh, these names, these Surefire silencer names are so long. SOCOM300-SPS. Yeah, and the Q Minifix 300 Blackout, this is the most recent test report that I released for you folks. You know, I did something a little bit different this time. I decided to release a review for a silencer on 300 Blackout without giving you supersonic data first. And this is sort of like what I did with that SIG silencer, what is it? I always forget what it's called, SRD 762 Ti. Yeah. It's sort of like I did with the SIG silencer, right? I just give you 300 Blackout data. I said, here you go, 300 Blackout subsonic. Now, I did it with the SIG silencer because I ran out of time in a test program. Okay, I did. With this Surefire silencer, I did it because I actually did test the 300 SPS on Supersonic 308 last year. But much like the test of the 762 RC2 that was tested at the same time, I used the war comp. I had no prior knowledge of the war comp mount before I had tested either silencer. That was in May of 2020. And if you have been listening to this podcast for any length of time, or if you have read the articles on pewscience.com, you will see that the war comp leaks. And it's noticeable. So it's significant. So all that being said, I didn't get around to testing the 300 SPS again until now. And I should say, by the way, the exact same silencer I tested with the war comp on 308, this 300 SPS, the same one, like the same serial number, is what I tested on Subsonic 300 Blackout for this review. And it's what I tested on Supersonic 308 too, that I haven't shown you. So, with the 3-prong, rather. So, this silencer I have been studying it. And so excuse me. But before I start to talk about this review and the data I published for you, I want to tell you something about 300 SPS. And this silencer was designed for 300 Blackout subsonic. Now, because of that, and the size of the bore, you can shoot other 30 caliber cartridges through this thing. Okay, you definitely can, and it'll work. It will work. But some weird things happen when you do it. All right, and I'm still reviewing the data, and I might test it some more just to be sure. But from what I'm seeing right now, the 300 SPS is not the best choice for 308 supersonic. And you would really think, given its more flow restrictive design, it would be kind of cool for Supersonic 308, like the 762 RC2 was. But I can tell you right now, it'll work, but it's not optimized for it. I'm going to touch on some tidbits, some physics about that. I think in topic 2 of today's episode. Okay, but so I don't want to get too far off this topic, but I just want to give you some foreshadowing. The 762 RC2 and the 300 SPS are different silencers, guys. They're very different, and we can apply a lot of the science that we've discovered so far to these. And they're the relationship between those silencers, which is really great. And that's kind of the goal of Pew Science. Okay, so with regard to this review, bottom line up front, 63.1 composite suppression rating. Okay, that's quiet. 60.4 at the ear. And I mean, I have the review right in front of me, so I'm cheating. So by the way, I forgot to tell you. So if you're following along at home, go to the website, reviews, section 6 of the Silencer Sound Standard there. You get there from the ranking section, whatever. Surefire, SOCOM300-SPS, and the Q Mini Fix. That's Sound Signature Review 657. Okay, I have the member review pulled up right here in front of me. All right, so you can follow on home if you want, and we'll kind of step through it. So bottom line up front, like I said, 63.1 composite suppression rating. Very quiet. 60.4 at the ear. Oh, man, don't you love it when you're in the 60 zone at the ear with a silencer? Oh, my goodness gracious. That's when the fun happens for me. No, seriously, though. When you're up in the 60s, you're just like, this is what it's all about. I just love that zone. What do I even call that on the suppression rating chart? Oh, yeah. High volume fire. Yeah. Excellent suppression. It is excellent. I love it. Once you're in the 60s at the ear on a weapon, you're just like, silencers are awesome. Now, don't get me wrong. I think silencers are awesome at other levels too. But, bro, when you're in the 60s, you're like, yeah, what is up? I get excited about that. And people are like, oh, sound doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, okay. So 60.4 at the ear. That's quiet. 58.6 at the muzzle. That's no slouch. That is no slouch for this cartridge. I tell you what. That's quiet time. That's a quiet day for you. And now, is this the quietest 300 blackout silencer? No. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. But it is very quiet. It's not even close to the quietest. Sorry. No, it's not even close. It's not even close to the quietest 300 blackout silencer, but it is quiet, and it's very quiet. It's much, you know what? You know what's really interesting? And you already knew this, especially if you've been paying attention, which you have, because why wouldn't you? You love this stuff. It's much quieter than the 7.62 RC2 on the subsonic cartridge, yeah? Yeah. Much quieter on subsonic 300 blackout than the 7.62 RC2 from Surefire. Same company, basically almost the same size, the silencer, same mount. Way quieter on subsonic 300 blackout. Remember the 7.62 RC2 on subsonic 300 blackout back in review 646? That was, dude, isn't that crazy? Review 646. Now we're talking about review 657. That's 11 articles ago, dude. 11 articles ago. That's wild. So much data for you. No, different type of silencer, completely different. And how do we know? And that's one thing I always like to talk about that. How do we know? How do we know that's a different type of silencer? Well, there's a lot of ways to be able to determine that. You can listen to them when you shoot them. You can look at the suppression rating, which will mirror what you shoot and hear when you shoot. And you can also look at figure 1 in both the reviews. Fingerprint. Remember? Check it out. Do it. Look at the difference. Remember the 7.62 RC2 and how it let gas out during subsonic flow? Remember? Now look at the 300 SPS figure 1. So if you want to look at the 7.62 RC2, go back to reviews. I'll open it. Hold on, guys. Review 646. Which is also linked in this review because they need to be talked about together. And in review 646, you look at figure 1, you see huge pulses occurring, very early time. Just does not restrict flow very well, does it? It's a very high flow rate silencer. Yeah. Now look at the 300 SPS. Look at the figure 1 in the recent review, the review 657. You get a little bit of initial jetting with that bullet exit pressure wave, right? Remember, and this is important. Remember, we are subsonic in this test, yeah? This is the discrete ballistics 190 grain subsonic. This is subsonic 300 blackout. That there's an exit pressure wave. What's a pressure wave? It's not a shock wave. It's not a shock wave. It's a pressure wave. Bullets pushing air. Precursor flow. Bullet exit silencer, still pushing air. So you see, and you can see this in the Silencer Sound Standard if you want to do your homework and look, but When you're slower than the speed of sound, the molecules can still communicate with each other because the molecules communicate at the sound speed in the medium. So if you are traveling slower than the speed of sound, or subsonically, you can create a pressure wave. You can push on your nearest neighbor and you can create a wave just like you would in the water. What happens when you go faster through a medium than the particles in the medium can communicate? What happens when you surprise them and they don't know what's happening? Well, you get a discontinuity. What do we call that? We call that a shock. So you're not shocking. If you zoomed in on that, you would see that that's not a shock. There is a rise time, quite a long rise time. You can't see it in that plot, but take my word for it. So that's not a shock wave. And that is a much different event than you will get from a supersonic shot out of a silencer. But I'm dwelling on this because I think there's some confusion between some folks, especially folks that work for silencer manufacturers. And they might not understand what they're looking at. That's okay. Now they do. So yeah, what happens with this 300 SPS, I don't get too hung up on that first peak, but so that happens. And then it kind of hovers. You get that pressure pulse, and then it's like you just see these pressure pulses coming out, and they're not even really approaching, they're not even coming above a certain amplitude. It's like, what was it, 126? Yeah, 125.6 dB pressure pulse, right? And then it kind of just wah, 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 wah. It's just wah, wah, wah. It's going for what? How long does that happen? Like, you don't really get another pressure pulse out of the end cap above that amplitude for almost a whole millisecond. That's how long. I'm telling you, the bullet comes out, then it's like, wow, 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 wow. It's not even jetting. I mean, nothing's coming out of this thing, dude. It's like it's delaying the ever-living daylights out of this gas jet. It's just not wanting to come out. 1 millisecond delay to major jet formation is a long time. And you can see it in this waveform. And for the record, guys, again, I see this all the time, especially from silencer manufacturers, which blows my mind. There are 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second, okay? And there are 1,000 microseconds in 1 millisecond, all right? So the time scale on the horizontal axis of each plot in the reviews are in milliseconds, okay? MS, that is the accepted international abbreviation for millisecond. That's not English, that's not metric, that's not Swahili. It's not Arabic. This is how you write it. MS, milliseconds. Okay, I'm not talking about microseconds. These are milliseconds, guys. All right? It's right there. I even say it. You know what? There's even the text next to figure 1. Figure 1 shows a 3.6 millisecond long sequence of events during the first test shot with a Surefire, blah, blah, blah. Like, I even write it down so that, like, if you read it, you'll read it and see it and understand it. And then if you look at the caption and the photo of the figure, you're like, oh, it says early time shot history. And then you look at the axis, 28 milliseconds to 31.6. Okay, early time. Cool. I thought it was pretty clear. Okay, so I just want to highlight that, make sure you know what you're looking at. Now, PewSoft, my data acquisition system, records a data point every microsecond. Okay, that's smaller than a millisecond. Okay, so in figure 1, it goes from, what does it go from? 28 milliseconds to 31.6 milliseconds on that axis, yeah? That's 3.6 milliseconds, right? Going from 28 to 31.6. 31.6 minus 28 is 3.6. 3.6 milliseconds total shown on that plot. That plot, it shows you a snapshot in time, guys. It's a snapshot in time. It's 3.6 milliseconds long. It's simple. Okay. Well, how many microseconds is that? Well, it's 3,600 microseconds. 3.6 times 1,000. Because there's 1,000 microseconds in every millisecond, and there's 3.6 milliseconds on the freaking plot. So 1,000 times 3.6 is 3,600. There are 3,600 data points in Figure 1 that make up that waveform in Figure 1 that you see. Okay? Okay. So that's the difference between milliseconds and microseconds. Remember, milli, that's like 10 times. That's like 10 to the negative 3. Yeah? Micro is like 10 to the negative 6th. Yeah? What's next? What's next? It's nanosecond. 10 to the negative 9. So, there would be 1,000 nanoseconds in 1 microsecond, just like there are 1,000 microseconds in 1 millisecond, just like there are 1,000 milliseconds in every second. But 60 seconds in a minute, because reasons. Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that, but I hear all this all the time. Well, he's, some guy told me, what is that guy? This guy makes a silencer. I don't know. I forget his name. It's not a popular silencer, but he's like zero back pressure, or something like that. And he messaged me, he says, you don't understand what you're doing, and back pressure occurs within the first 3 microseconds of silencer use. And I was like, first 3 microseconds. Like, he said it to me, I was like, first 3 microseconds. I was like, first of all, sir, I don't claim to understand everything, but I think I do know what I'm talking about. Second of all, like, really? That's rude. Second of all, no, you're completely wrong. So I don't know what he was talking about. So like when he said that to me, I was like, man, I think some people just don't read the dang horizontal axes. And I was like, do you think that's true? Do you think they're just not reading it? I was like, no, man, I put it in the text too. I was like, oh, come on, man. It's not, I know like science class might have been boring, but dude. And then like people start arguing about the decibel. And like, you guys know the time regimes, right? Like, okay. So anyway, that's enough about Figure 1. The main takeaway I want you to have here is that it's different than the 762 RC2 on subsonic 300 blackout, okay? Like completely different. It looks different. The fingerprint is different. The behavior is different, okay? So if you progress through the review, you can scroll down more. You can read it if you want. You don't have to read it. It's fine. You can see more waveforms that I give you, and they're just more pretty pictures to show you the data is correct, and importantly, that it's real. That's the important part, that it's real. So I want you can go down, you skip to Figure 3. Why not? Go to Figure 3. That's a good one to look at. Figure 3A, Figure 3B. Holy crap. You should say to yourself, astonished, while having Surefire in the context of your mind. You should say, holy crap, Jay. Oh my goodness. Look at the shape of those impulse plots, Jay. Oh my goodness. That's what you should be saying. That's what I said when I saw them. Guys, the 762 RC2 in that review, what was it, 626 or whatever? 646? 646? Sorry, I didn't scroll up because I referenced it. Yeah, review 646, remember that? And then look at this. Oh my goodness. That Surefire silencer was completely different. And this is, the impulse plots show you so well. I mean, we already talked about how the pressure plot in Figure 1 in early time showed you, but I recognize that some people aren't as in tune with looking at exact events and understanding the timing. Fine. So when you look at Figure 3, Figure 3A, Figure 3B, the shape of the early time impulse. Oh my goodness gracious. Remember, in review 646 with the 762 RC2 with subsonic 300 blackout, the impulse rose to its peak with a super steep slope, dude. Even on subsonic. That's an important distinction. Why? That's because the 762 RC2 is not a subsonic silencer. It's just not. It's built for supersonic suppression and a high flow rate. Okay? The 300 SPS, it takes a while to ramp up. It does. And as any good subsonic 300 blackout silencer should, frankly. So it is written. So it is written now and forever. Amen. Okay? That's how it works. That's not, and you know what? I'll eat crow if I'm wrong about that. Frankly, I will. I promise you, I will eat crow, but I don't think I am wrong about that. Because I haven't been so far, and I've tested a lot of crap. Okay? Like, seriously. I think we're starting to learn. Dude, we're learning a lot. We're closing in on the end of 2021, and we are in a good shape. We're in good shape, and that's thanks to you members that contribute. You're making this happen. You're funding this research, and I can't wait to talk to you more about that in the next topic. Okay, calm down. Now, notice in this review, or this discussion about this review right now, notice how I'm like really not talking about numbers at all. Yeah, I gave you the suppression rating because that's important. Because so you already know how quiet it is. I gave you the suppression rating, so you already know how quiet it is. You already know. Notice how now what I've been doing is I step through this with you. Notice how I'm talking about the behavior of the silencer and using features of the waveforms to help you see that and describe it. Notice how I'm doing that? That's because this is real data. So for those of you just tuning in, this is Pew Science. This is how we do it. We look at the real data and we analyze what is happening. This is how we characterize the behavior of the silencers. This is how we understand how they work so that we can go forward with true knowledge and information, not speculation. Okay? It's very important. Very important. So I will say, and I don't want to get ahead. I don't want to get ahead of future publications and ongoing research. But you guys, look, you really need to know that this silencer is truly specialized for 300 blackout to the point that it can do some wild things when you take it out of its performance zone. Put it on supersonic 308. I'm telling you, it's kind of weird. It doesn't like super high pressure with long duration. Put it on supersonic 556. It's actually not that out of place with a combustion duration involved. You lower that combustion duration, it can fare better. Use it with the war comp. You're gonna handicap it in a way, just like the 762 RC2. And I'm still doing research on this, but pending more testing, the 300 SPS and the 762 RC2 might be one of the most interesting case studies I have performed so far, I think, in the history of Pew Science. When I am finished with the research, Pew Science members will get the article, I think. It's going to be for them. It is so insane. I think that members deserve it. And it's taken a lot of work I'm not going to just publish that in the open. I'm done doing that type of stuff. I think that Pew Science members need to reap the benefit from a lot of this stuff. I'm going to start publishing more member articles, frankly. And I'm using Pew Science funding to do that research internally. I spent a while this week already working on it, and it's only Tuesday night. I've been working on it since this weekend, and I'm not sure when it's going to get published, but I'll publish it eventually. And if you're a member, you'll see it. So yeah, thank you. I think you guys deserve it. I think it's gonna be cool. So back to the review now. Oh yeah, the signatures of the shooter's ear. Yeah, that's important. If you're a member, important. Look at that, please. Really good stuff. Really high fidelity. Really shows you what you can expect from the silencer. And frankly, it really proves out the efficacy of the system on 300 subs. If you're, seriously, especially compared to the 762 RC2 members, I want you to compare those two sets of data. You look at those impulse comparisons. Goodness gracious me. Look at those waveforms. Completely different silencer. If that doesn't give you confidence that this is a 300 blackout specific silencer, I don't know what would. Frankly. Yeah. Now, the pay dirt for you folks listening, check out Figure 6. Check out figure 6. There are 10 silencer configurations in that table. 10. Dude. You know, after I published this, I actually did some Googling. I did. And just to see, I publish things and then I interact with you guys, answer your questions, and, post on social media, yada, yada. But then, like, this weekend, I was doing Pew Science research in the laboratory. And then I jumped on the old interwebs and I said, okay, let me Google something really quick. I took a little break from my studies, my analysis, and I went onto the Google, and I went back about 5 years, give or take, when this silencer was released, give or take 5-6 years. And I looked on the internet for opinions. I did. I like to do. Sometimes I do like to do like old internet searches from back in the day, as it were. It's important to investigate historical record. And since then, tons of people have offered firsthand experience of the 300 SPS performance, and some have speculated about the performance of this Surefire silencer. It is absolutely wild what some people say about the 300 SPS and the 762 RC2. And you will find that people who actually own the silencer and shoot it say certain things, and then there are absolutely ludicrous things stated by people who don't own the silencer. It's really similar to what occurs with a lot of silencers, I think. But when you look at figure 6, and I want you to look at figure 6, I think you will see that the comparison of the 300 SPS and the rest of the silencers shown agrees with your experience if you own the silencers and if you have shot them on 300 blackout. The 300 SPS is getting to levels at the shooter's ear of the SIG SRD 762, which is a really good subsonic 300 blackout silencer, guys. The 300 SPS is quieter than the Vox S is with a wipe. It's quieter than the Q Half Nelson. It's quiet. Okay? It's quiet. And I hope this puts things in perspective, because it's a quiet silencer, and look how much quieter it is than the super high flow rate silencers. The OSS, the 762 RC2, the Hyperion K. Look how much quieter it is than those on this platform. Subsonic 300 blackout. It's not a little bit quieter than those silencers on this platform. It's a different sport. It's a different sport, dude. It's multiple suppression rating categories higher in its ratings. It's a different sport. Look, bro. Look at the Vox S without a wipe. Hell, even with the wipe, like I said. Oh, here's the thing that I'm going to say. Spoiler alert. It's not even a spoiler. You've already heard it. Remember when YouTube told you that the Vox S was Hollywood quiet, remember? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Which Hollywood would that be? In which it's Hollywood quiet. Which Hollywood are they talking about? The one where they actually show real gunshots like in the movie Heat? because if the Vox S is Hollywood quiet, even with the wipe, then the Surefire SOCOM300-SPS is a shooting a BB gun in a black hole on the minifix. And I can tell you right now, it doesn't sound like a BB gun in a black hole. So, this is figure 6 is powerful. Why is it powerful? It shows you how the silencers sound. Let me say that again. Figure 6 shows you how the silencers sound. Shows you how they sound. Okay, well, it's time to talk about loud or quiet. It's not enough with this speculation and this peak dB nothingness on these forums, guys. You're wasting time. And I'm not just talking to consumers right now. You're wasting time. And this Pew Science thing's been going on for like 2 years now. Just wait. you're going to waste more, and then you're going to be left behind. There's companies are already figuring it out. Look at the chart. There are already companies figuring this out. Apparently, the Surefire did it. The 300 SPS is super quiet. It's not even new. It's 5 to 6 years old, guys. And there's newer silencers that are supposed to be quieter, but they're not. Come on now, enough. I'm getting a little bit upset. These YouTube folks, Hollywood quiet. I tell you what, it's irresponsible. Stop saying it because you're convincing people to spend money on things by misrepresenting products, and it's disingenuous. And if you don't know the answer to something, say, I don't know. Don't lie. Lying is bad. They teach you not to lie. Yeah? Your parents teach you not to lie. Don't lie. Stop lying. It's not nice. It's not the right thing to do. Be nice. Lying to people to get money? Yeah, that's not going to go well, guys. Not in this life, the next. Come on, man. So in summary, sorry, didn't get negative. I don't want to steal the thunder away from this wonderful silencer. In summary, all in all, 300 SPS, quiet silencer. Lightweight? Absolutely not. Foolproof mount? Not even close. New and sexy? No. Debatably sexy though, frankly. Cool silencer? In my opinion? Absolutely. Absolutely is a cool silencer. I kind of want one. Is it the quietest? No. Is it versatile? Not really. Not to me. I mean, to you, you might think it is, but it's not. Spoiler alert, it's not versatile. I would just use it on 300 blackout, frankly. Will it work in a pinch for other stuff? Absolutely. 5.56 even, I think, actually would be really, really great. It's not the best. It's not the worst in the category of versatility, but it can function. Now, is it a classic? I think it will be. I think it will be a classic. I think it'll end up being one. I think it's been out long enough, and it performs well enough. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh, stream of consciousness. I just remembered. Excuse me. I just remembered this Instagram comment from a guy. I think it was on the Pew Science corporate account last week. The guy was like, "Great, cat's out of the bag. The best kept secret in subsonic 300 blackout suppression just got released. The 300 SPS." I'm butchering I'm butchering what he said, but I think the thrust of what the gentleman was saying is, it was like the best kept secret. Like no one knew, and now it's going to be sold out everywhere probably because everyone loves Surefire. I mean, I say that's not true. A lot of people, Surefire has a really big fan base, and now they see, I can make my subsonic 300 blackout gun quiet and use a Surefire silencer. Some people are just big Surefire fans. Yeah, you can. I mean, they've had this since 2015. I just remember that guy saying that. I was like, he's right. Like, and you know what? You know what's really interesting, dude? Dude, like I'm talking to one person. Dude, guys. What's really interesting to me is how, and I was speaking about my fiance and I were talking about this the other day. She's so great. I bounce ideas off of her a lot. We were talking. She's like into guns too, which is cool. And we were talking about. I was like, how funny it is that marketing and like product cycles and marketing cycles occur. Like you hear all this noise about a gun or a silencer like all at once because they give all these influencers and stuff because influencer marketing is a thing, right? So they give all these magazines and these social media people these silencers, and you see this marketing blitz of everyone's like, oh, this is so great, this is the new da da da, this is the new da da da, and everyone's like, yeah, and then nothing for like 5 years. That's the 300 SPS. Go Google it. I want you to go on Google and Google 300 SPS and go back to 2015. You can use the Google tools to look at search dates and stuff. Do that and start reading, and then like watch where it stopped. Why did it stop? Well, there was no marketing anymore. No one was paying for marketing anymore. And then some new silencers came on and like, oh, this is so quiet. 300 SPS has been there. It's been quieter than a bunch of stuff for a long time. Just sitting there, but no one will market it anymore. It's not sexy anymore. We're not going to talk about it. It's still sold. People ask me, oh, why are you testing all these old silencers? I'm like, because they're still on the market and they're better. Isn't that weird? I just think it's not weird when you understand why it's happening. It's interesting. And I think that you should know. And, frankly, there wasn't really a huge strategy here to release that review just now. I was just like, you know what? I think people should know about that. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I recently shot that 300 blackout. It sure did sound good. What a cool review. Here you go. And then I thought, I'm doing Surefire research internally. Why not publish the 300 SPS? So that was my logic for that. And, not to mention the fact that like 100,000 people wanted it. A lot of people aren't public with it, but they will email me, the members, and they'll ask for stuff. And I'm like, yeah. I listen. I know some of you think I'm not responding to your requests, but I am. It takes me time. But I hear everything you say, and I respond to all your emails. So I am listening, and I think the 300 SPS was highly desirable. Some more to say. One thing I didn't talk about much, and we can talk about this later probably, but the baffle design in the 300 SPS is a lot different than the RC2 series. It is. And I think that if you're a silencer nerd, it's probably a cool can to have in your collection. It's probably a cool silencer to have in your collection. And I'm not telling you to go buy one. Please do not misinterpret my enthusiasm for the product as an endorsement for purchase. Let me be very clear with you. I do not care what you buy. Okay. That being said, it's cool, and I don't know what Surefire is planning going forward. I don't, but I think if I see a deal on one, I might buy one because I'm like, yeah, I want one. I was thinking, if I didn't buy one, what if like they discontinued it and I couldn't get one? I'm like, oh, then I don't have 300 SPS. It's like one of those like collector things where it's like, oh man, it's a pretty important silencer. I think it's a pretty important silencer because it's a Surefire, which is ubiquitous, and it's purpose built. Purpose built silencers to me are cool. I'm a fan of quiet stuff on quiet platforms. You see, because silencers are all cool. But 300 blackout subsonic is supposed to be quiet. Like, that's the whole point of it. It's not 556. It's not supersonic 308. It's purpose built. The only reason 300 blackout exists is for supersonic short barrel lethality combined with subsonic lethality too. In the same platform with common mags and bolt carry groups with a barrel swap from 556. That's why 300 blackout exists. So one of the main features of 300 blackout that makes it attractive is the subsonic lethality, in that it can give you good lethality with its velocity constrained in close quarters. The fact that that is a trait of the cartridge itself means that silencers designed for that trait are specialized more so than most. And the whole point of a silencer is to make something quiet. And because the trait is quiet, this is like a quieter. So my logic dictates that it's cool. I'm into it. I'm into subsonic silencers. I think they're cool. I think we can. I always like to get as quiet as possible. This is Surefire's attempt at that. Did they do it? No. Did they give a good effort? I think so. I think they did, because it's quieter than a lot of other silencers that are just the same size, really. So what are you gonna do? So I hope you guys. In all seriousness, I hope you guys found this data useful. A lot, and again, a lot of you asked me about this silencer. I wish I could have given you data sooner. But we had the work comp shit oh, there you go. Curse. Let's blow it, Jay. Just blow it. Add a curse word to your show. That's really great. Don't we get like one? What's the rule? I don't know. I wish I could have giving you data sooner, and I wish I was done with my research on it, but I'm not. I want to give you more about it. I'm just not done. And I really, let me get a drink of water. I need to say something else. Just so you know, this podcast is going to go long, isn't it? We're almost an hour in. Just so you know, just so you're aware, some of you ask me for data on silencers, right? And the thing is, I may have tested them, and I may have the data, and I may have even analyzed it already. But I will not release it until I fully understand it. Ever. And that is the difference. Seriously, I hope you're listening to me when don't zone out. Come back. Pay attention. This is the difference between what I am doing and what every single other source of silencer information is doing on the entire planet. I do not release information without comprehensive analysis, and if something is going on that I don't fully understand or there's an anomaly I can't explain, I don't publish it. Not until I study it further. I don't publish it. I don't. Here's a real life. Here's an example, and many of you will remember this. You can go. It's all public record. It's all my podcast. Remember the CGS Helios QD? Remember when I released supersonic 308 data on that silencer? Do you remember that? It was a long time ago. Remember I told you I tested it multiple times and I even told CGS I had to test it multiple times, and this was way before CGS was a client. Okay? Like, by the way, they were not an R&D client at that time. And for those of you new to Pew Science, I tested some of the CGS stuff before CGS really knew what Pew Science was all about. I mean, they knew me, but they didn't know me. Understand? They didn't know what I was doing. They didn't understand. No one did. And it took me a while to release that Helios QD data, didn't it? It took me a while, didn't it? But when I did release it, what happened? You saw the most accurate, informative, useful data you would ever see for that silencer on Earth. So be patient. Okay? When you ask for stuff, like, I'm not saying not to ask. You need to be asking. But what I'm saying is when I tell you it's coming, don't think I'm lying to you. I understand what you want. And you'll get it when you get it. Okay. I just want you guys to understand. I know this sounds a little bit, this might sound a little gruff or maybe aggressive to you. Well, I'm an aggressive person. And I don't mean to be rude. And I'm sorry if it comes off that way. So that's not my intention. My intention is to illustrate to you, at least verbally, that I care a lot, and I want you to have the best information you can. And I want you to not get information that will mislead you. And I haven't done it yet, but I will if I have to. And I've said this before: if I ever publish something that is in error, or somehow it becomes misleading because it misrepresents some type of phenomena, or anything, if anything's wrong, I will retract it and offer an explanation publicly. I will. And I have, to date, I have not done that. The only thing I can think of that I might need to change is I think I got the baffle stack material wrong in the silencer. The 300-SPS, someone on RFCOM said, because I think I said that it was, the baffles are Inconel. I know that the RC2 has Inconel, but hey, 762 RC2 Inconel baffles used to have an Inconel end cap. Now the end cap's stainless, just a regular stainless, like 17.4 or something like that. But the baffle stack's still Inconel. Now the 300-SPS, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It might not be. You shouldn't be. Don't worry about it. Use the 300-SPS on 300 blackout. Don't try to put it on all that stuff anyway. So yeah. Okay, so when but that's not really what I'm talking about with issuing a retraction. I'm talking about what if I don't know, I made an analysis error and the suppression rating was incorrect, or in a review, or I don't know, I just I don't know, something. Like if I mess up, I'll let you know. Okay? I try to go above and beyond for you because I'm taking this seriously. This is my work. This is my job for you. I take this is my job now for you. Okay? Like I want to do this for you. And I take it seriously. So if I take it seriously, I think you should at least consider that I might be genuine with you. Okay, cool. Okay, I hope that was useful. And we're going to be moving to topic 2 at a time of 55 minutes and 33 seconds. Oh, all right. Let me get some water. This might go off the rails too. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Topic 2, internal Pew Science research in the laboratory. A quick update. Yeah, some observations. 556, 762, and 300 blackout. And I want to talk about some test specimens that are on my radar. I am discovering some things with 30 caliber rifle silencers that are very interesting. And these interesting phenomena occur when you vary the cartridge types through the silencers. We knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know how it was going to manifest. Now, subsonic 300 blackout requires high flow restriction, and you can accomplish that in a few ways. Some ways work very well, and they don't compromise supersonic 308 performance. No, let me back up. I shouldn't say it requires high flow restriction. That's not true. Let me restate that sentence for you. Subsonic 300 blackout can be suppressed favorably in silencers that exhibit high flow restriction. And you can accomplish that in a few ways. And some ways work very well. And those ways don't compromise supersonic 308 performance, for example. Now, notice I didn't say supersonic 300 blackout. I said supersonic 308. Okay, I'm making a distinction between the blackout and the 762 by 51. It's not just the speed. It's not just the pressure. Okay. I don't know if I lost you again. Let me back up. Some of the things that make subsonic 300 blackout suppression work don't interfere with supersonic 308. Okay? Tracking? Okay. Now, some of those ways that make subsonic 300 silencers pretty good do mess with the way the silencer would work on supersonic 308. And you've heard me talk about this. We talked about Nomad and Hyperion stuff. We talked about Omega Baffle, the Omega Baffle tech versus the simple cones. Remember, we've talked about this ad nauseum. And remember the analogies that I used to help you, and you know the movie theater and everything. I remember those analogies. Now, well, what I'm finding is, in addition to those relations, there is another factor that you have to consider. In addition to what we were talking about, it's not just the pressure of the round and the sonic velocity. It's not. It's the combustion product volume. It's the case capacity. You will find that when you move to 5.56 suppression on a short barrel, you do have a high pressure situation. We've shown that. In the unsuppressed, you've seen it. But your charge volume is different and your jet diameter is different and the silencer behavior changes. You can take a silencer that is so-so on supersonic 308 and its 5.56 performance might not be too bad. Yeah? You can take a silencer that's so-so on, let me say this, so-so on 308, meaning that, it's okay on 308, it's not blowing my skirt up. You put on 5.56, you're like, it's not too bad. the big scope of things there. It's interesting, yeah? And you know what's really cool about when that happens? That silencer also might have good subsonic performance. That's a big deal. So, the subsonic 30 caliber performance, you tracking? So the subsonic 300 blackout, like the 300 SPS we just talked about in this episode, the subsonic 30 caliber performance and the supersonic 5.56 performance may fall into a bin for some designs, with supersonic 308 being an outlier due to high volume. This is a dangerous hypothesis. It's frankly a little bit mad scientist like, but I'm telling you, I'm kind of like sniffing this, like when a dog finds a trail, like holy crap, like this is like one of those eureka things, like holy crap, dude, I'm starting to look at this and whoa. And you know what? And then you go look at other designs. All three might be good. You get your supersonic 308, your supersonic 5.56, and your subsonic 300 blackout, and it works on everything. It's very interesting for some design. It's very interesting. They're all different. All these different designs. And extrapolating 5.56 performance from supersonic 308 performance is very dangerous. And I hope you heard that, because there are people right now on the internet that are thinking they're not understanding. And let me say it again: extrapolating 5.56 performance from supersonic 308 performance is dangerous. With the caveat of saying, at least on short barrel 5.56, I can tell you it's dangerous right now. Okay, it's a big deal, me saying this to you right now. I hope you're really hearing what I'm saying. This is a very big deal. And I think the ongoing research I'm doing is going to make... let me be careful how I say this. I think the ongoing research I'm doing is going to be valuable for characterizing this phenomena. As it's funny, when Chris from YHM... You remember? Some of you might remember. I spoke with him on the first episode of this podcast, episode 1. We touched on this. I don't know if you paid attention. We touched on this for like a couple seconds. Only a couple seconds. It was fleeting. It'll be cool. It'll be cool when I circle back through all this and close that loop. Go back to episode 1. Maybe I'll close it by episode 100. Then we can say, it took 100 episodes and I figured it out. That'd be cool. No, but in addition to this research that I'm working on for you right now, I just spoke with a dealer. Shout out, sir. You know exactly who you are. I don't want to reveal your name. Trust me, it's important we don't talk about your name. I just spoke with a dealer about some high-interest rifle silencers that may be tested. One of those product lines is the new SIG stuff. Another one, I don't even want to tell you what it is because I don't want the manufacturer to know. It's going to be one of those situations. So that's coming. And it's actually something people have asked for. It might break some hearts or it might be awesome. I don't know if it's going to be loud or quiet, but it's definitely going to be tested. And I know they don't want it tested. So yeah, that's happening a lot. Trust. So that's happening. The SIG stuff, it's on my radar. I think we're going to be able to get those too. I mean, I'm super excited about the SIG stuff. Goodness gracious, the SIG stuff. I think it's going to be interesting. I heard their mount is complicated but cool. Clutch lock, I think they call it. I don't know. I think I played with it at a show, but I don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to briefly address this, not with a lot of specifics, but I just wanted to address it. A lot of you folks have been asking about the SIG silencers, so just know your concerns are heard. Progress is being made, and we're going to get to the bottom of those performance claims, aren't we? Yeah, I promise you that. We are, and I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to quantify the performance of that technology for you so you'll understand it. I mean, when I understand it, you will. And then we all will. That's how this works, right? Rising tide raises all ships, guys. I'm telling you, we're all going to solve the riddle of silence. We're all going to solve it together, and then when we're done, we can all look back on it. Well, one of these days, I don't know when it's going to be. Could be 10 years, 20 years later. We're going to be hanging out, you and I. We're going to be drinking a beer, maybe a glass of whiskey or something, or our feet up on a coffee table at a remote ranch, having just murdered some animals, and we're gonna clink our glasses together, and we're gonna say, how cool is it that we completely understand silencers now? Like, yeah, no, it is cool, right? That's gonna be a cool day. I can't wait. Okay. Topic 3. He's losing his mind. Topic 3, at a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 28 seconds. Topic 3. Oh, yeah, this is important. I do want to talk about this. Welcome to all the new Pew Science members. Thank you. It's awesome when you guys join. Now, thank you for your support. It's awesome. Some of you folks asked about other ways to support. You did. And for you, specifically, only because you asked, I added a donation function to the website because you asked for it. Okay? I appreciate it. And all you folks who joined since we last spoke, you're helping with the membership. That's great. It makes this worth continuing to me. It funds the testing. It funds the research. It funds the podcast. It funds me talking to you. It helps. Some of you DM me. You DM me on social media. Sometimes I talk about raising funding for research, and you tell me you wish you could give more. Either with a higher membership tier, maybe a piecemeal contribution or something. I took all that feedback from several months, and I consulted the Oracle. No, I thought about it, and I decided. It was begrudgingly. I decided, sure, I'll add the donation function to the website. I did this. What was it? Sunday. I don't think anyone's donated yet. Honestly. So I don't know if you guys were serious or not. Maybe I hadn't seen it. I don't know. I had some folks tell me when I first started this effort that if I asked for donations, that it would cheapen the effort and I would lose legitimacy. That's what they said. Because I was thinking, well, how am I gonna raise funds for this? This is gonna be a lot of work. Am I gonna do a membership system? Am I gonna do donations? How am I gonna do it? I don't know. Thought about it. And when they told me they thought that it would cheapen it and make it less legitimate, I thought that was a strange opinion, but I did consider their opinion. I did, and I figured since I decided the membership, I thought that was better. That was more valuable to people, and since I had that, I figured to myself, I'll cross the bridge with the donations later. I was like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to mess with that. I hate asking from people for money. I'm just gonna go on. So you guys kept asking, and I said, okay, why not? Well, see, it's not that hard to code up, and I was like, I can code this. So I did that. Put it there on the website there. It's there. So if you guys want to help out by donating a little bit or a lot of it, whatever, it's awesome. Like that, I thank you. Like I said, I put some pre-populated amounts in there. And there's a blank that you can enter your own amount to if you want. I figured folks will give what they can if they want. And perhaps it'll be a good way to raise some funds to keep it going. Anyway, like I said, it means a lot. Every little bit helps, so it's appreciated. No pressure ever to join or donate. Just, it's another mechanism so you can show your thanks and support. You asked for it, it's there. Okay? And I'll keep it there unless it doesn't work at all, and then I'll just remove it because I don't want to feel dumb. So yeah, okay. So next week's a holiday week. And frankly, I actually typically wait until Thanksgiving week to go hunting. I don't hunt opening day and stuff usually for deer. I wait till it gets cooler down here in Texas, and so I will probably be out hunting at this time next week. As a result, I might push some data to you early next week, or give the members some data this weekend again or something. I don't know. Not sure yet. We'll see what I decide to do. I'll figure something out. And I think I might be doing another podcast this week. Not this podcast, but some of my internet gun buddies might be doing one. And if I do it, it's scheduled to do it, but I, never say, it could, don't count your chickens. But if it happens, if and when it happens, and it gets published, I'll share it on social and, social media. I'll probably link to it on this, link to it on my podcast and talk about it so you guys can I'll tell you where to find it. So that'll be fun. I love talking to other gun people. So yeah, if you and I do not talk before Thanksgiving, please enjoy the holiday. Be merry. Okay. I hope everyone gets to spend it with their loved ones. And if not, at least do it, spend it doing something you love. Okay. Life's short. Make sure you get out there and do something cool. Okay. So until next time, folks, take care. I will talk to you folks again soon. All right. Bye.